Hi, I'm Anand,
I'm Luisa.
and today we are going to talk about our trips to Galapagos Island.
We are excited to share our story with you.
Join us on our wandering nomad life.
We are the Twilight Explorers.
So actually, I got interested in all these animal species and all. My college years, there's an exhibition by zoology department. I was going around, and there's one animal that the exhibitors explained that animal had his brain in the back of, in his butt, not in the front and the head. And that somehow for me got very fascinated, And then the talk diverted into this area about Galapagos, And she said that area is some of the most fascinating and unique animals in the world, And that stuck with me. And then I connected that with what we had studied about Charles Darwin and theory of evolution.
By the way, what is the animal that is the brain is in the butt?
Yeah, that's what I don't remember. But it looked like, if I remember that animal, it looked more like an iguana type. It was long with a tail and all. But the brain was in the butt.
Does it think out of his ass?
Huh? What?
Does it think out of his butt?
Think out of his butt, yeah. What is the animal with the
Funny
butt?
enough, I said I like the iguana because they really look scary. Those iguana. If you see them, they're stuck in the beach. That looks really like alien there. Maybe they're dinosaur.
First time that we learnt about Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution and all during the college years and in high school years. And from that time on, I had a tremendous fascination to visit the place where he had observed the different species of animals. And based on that, he wrote his famous book, The Origin of Species. And I always dreamt about going there, but I never knew it till I ever end up. But in year 2020, we were looking around for that region and we saw the country called Ecuador. And we started looking at all the different places in Ecuador and we were fascinated by that. And Galapagos is about 1,000 kilometers from the main coast of Ecuador. We flew in from the Ecuador mainland to the, I forgot the name.
Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz, the main island. And most interesting thing was, of course, landing there. You saw beautiful, pristine blue waters and everything. But when you land, there's so much screening happens to make sure that there's no foreign substances or things you're bringing in there that could impact the wildlife and ecosystem there, and biodiversity. And you see in the airport how much screening that goes on for all the bags and all to see if they had anything in there. This area is very highly protected. And from there, we take a boat, and we chose the boat of 100 people. And
Santa Cruz,
Santa Cruz Island. And then what happens is you are in the boat. In the evenings, you go back to the boat. You sleep there. In the morning, there is a excursion to different places. Then you come back for lunch. And then again in the afternoon, there is another excursion that you go on the coastlines of some islands, or you go into the hiking and walking around in the islands. The boat rides, the longest it was that on one day was about 35-40 minutes to the islands. Most of the time is about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and still quite far from human intervention. So the species are growing in its natural environment. So we spent 8 days in Galapagos Islands and visited about 8 different islands during our visit. It was a season where seals had babies and all. So it was first time it was very fascinating to see the little babies, sometimes just delivered. You can see that they are absolutely born within a few hours before we saw them and all. And it was so fascinating to see the interaction between mother and the babies. The sea lions, when the babies and all, they're playing sometimes it looked like a swimming pool, but there's small areas of water, collected between rocks and all. And they're jumping. You can see they're also enjoying it. They're having so much fun. An older one, younger one. There's another scene is there in one of the videos and all. A newly born seal is very curious about the crab and how he's trying to follow the crab and all. And crab keeps backing off and all. It's fascinating to see those scenes. For me, I had always fascination because of the survival of the fittest, and the essence of that was how you adapt to the environment. That was the fascinating, that the secret of success, they a lot of times says, is how you adapt to the different environment, and then you survive and thrive. And seeing that firsthand, something fascinating we saw about the hawks later on, that when the seal had sea lion had a baby, and the placenta was left on the ground after the baby was delivered. And you can see in one of those pictures that there are 2 hawks there, but the second hawk arrived after the first hawk had started eating the placenta and all. And you can see the other one had a what you call hawkish manner. They were waiting, not intervening, until the first guy is finished, And then first guy gave space to the other guy to eat and all and all. It was very fascinating things to see about the wildlife there. So that was our first experience. As we progressed and the days progressed, we started seeing, and it was kind of surprising that we thought it will be very lush, dense forest and all. But that wasn't so. A lot of area was very dry, or rocks, big trees and all, but not so lush and all. There are different kind of sand. Sometimes there is a white sand, sometimes there is a red sand,
black sand.
Or black sand beaches and all with the rocks and all. And beautiful pelicans and flamingos and all that we see, and those blue-footed booby babies and all. They've never been seen any human dangers and all. Blue-footed boobies. There are three types of boobies we saw: blue-footed boobies, Nazca's boobies, and red-footed boobies. And that's so fascinating to see the foot and the beaks. Different. Human boobies? No. What is boobies? No human boobies.
Oh, you didn't know what is booby?
Booby. Interesting thing is, on those islands you cannot use bathroom, so you better make sure that you are prepared to hold it for 2 to 3 hours while you are hiking and walking around and all. It's kind of tough deal, and amazingly that we were able to do that. But some people had
the only way you can go bathroom is to go to the ocean,
or you can go into the ocean and sit in the ocean to go bathroom. But
for number one.
Number one.
Number two, you can't do it. You have to go back to the boat.
To the boat and all. Huh? And you cannot, because wildlife is so much protected that if any of these germs come from your extractions and all, it will disturb their ecosystem, and because they are not used to the human and the entire species could be eliminated from the islands and all. And Galapagos has a lot of those things are unique. Some of those things are not even seen anywhere else in the world, those species and all. So they're very strictly protected area.
Oh yeah, I remember something about the animal. That the people in Galapagos, whoever is the people who take care or watch the island, they don't interfere with the animal. Like, for example, if one animal will kill another one, it's like basically survival of the fittest. He said that's how the nature is, so they don't interfere with those kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was on the last day when we were on I think from San Cristobal we went up in the hills and all. The turtles travel all the way up in the hills to lay eggs and all, from the ocean. In fact, they were tortoises, I think. I don't know. Tortoises are the ground ones. But I think these guys come from ocean. But and the thing is, how even you think that it's only human who are territorials or something, but even animal species, and if another turtle comes close to it, how they give each other a message to just back off.
I forgot which animal it is. Remember you asked me, what is the one that I like?
You like iguana?
The iguana is like very, even in animal kingdom, they can do this, something like this male iguana. I think it's iguana. The male one.
That's a fascinating story.
You know what do they do? The male iguana, they pretend they're female.
The marine iguana, there are some do trick, and we should read the story properly. They trick the other ones, so male go hunting, and then they get the male power and all the.
Yeah, and then when the male iguanas come, and then he just like kind of hide and go back like that, so that the male iguana won't suspect him, But he does all these
marine
things.
Iguana, marine iguana. There is they do trick.
Man with all the housewives.
And they get the food.
The guy told a story. It's fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating. That's why he said even in animal kingdom they go something like this. He said.
It sounds like that survival of the fittest, or just that.
That's also another fascinating story they told, that in Galapagos, when originally somebody landed, one family, and then there's another family landed, and even though there were only two humans families there, they didn't get along, and they had so much the intrigues and trying to basically hurt each other and all. He says,
because they wanted
to. It was a very fascinating story about Galapagos, that there were only 2 or 3 families there originally. And even there, they had so much, not only getting along, but they were playing politics and games to hurt each other.
Yeah. Actually, it's in the Netflix.
It's in Netflix?
Yeah, it's actually in Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it's called?
Satan came to Eden.
There's so much
Yeah,
land there,
so much
there were
land.
two families that they were fighting.
There's such a huge one stay on the other side and the other one came to the other side too, but they still have to fight with this big huge land there, empty land.
Yeah, it was very
So much
interesting. Human.
intrigue. You know, one of the second lady who come to the island, he was like he tried to like remove her clothes to attract the attention of the other
men.
party.
There are only two families.
Yeah, there are only two.
Yeah.
And then the original family who came there is funny how he removed all his teeth because he got the idea that in Galapagos you won't get a dentist. So he decided before going there to remove all his teeth so that he won't have toothache anymore. And he convinced the wife also to do the same thing.
Yeah, but it's
That's the most funny
it's
one.
amazing the human
Yeah,
part of
human.
the story in of course and all that about Galapagos.
So who's wilder, the animals or the humans?
I think the humor.
Well, at least you can see about humor, but I told you I saw between turtles also the territorial things and all, and I'm sure that's there between iguanas. Actually, I didn't see them fighting. Most of them stayed to in big bunches and all. But the marine iguanas, land iguanas were only more isolated. You see one quite far from each other, but marine iguanas they're pretty close.
If you were one animal on the Galapagos Islands, which animal represents you?
So which animals will represent to me on Galapagos Island would be which animals would represent me, and I'll just say amongst all the fascinating animals I saw, I would say on Galapagos I would like to be
Tortoise.
not as much a tortoise for me. Actually, the booby with Nazca's booby. It had no blue foot, it had no red foot, but I think it was pretty elegant with a black beak and all. So I like that. How about you? Which animal would you like to be?
Iguanas. I don't know. They look scary.
Survival of the fittest. We did survive and thrive.